Okay, we are going to read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Jakey, you in there?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on the computer, so I'm sorry, guys, I can't show you pictures. The Lorax.
You can show pictures.
At the fat end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the crickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you could still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. Remember, Dr. Seuss likes all those rhyming, made-up words. It was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. He's the one that knows all the secrets. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. So you got to pay him for the story about the Lorax. On the end of the rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. That's the payment. That's weird. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snove, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you for your ears alone. So that means it's a secret. Slurp, down slurps the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a stringerly hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. This is the story now. He's telling about the Lorax. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the trufula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the trufula trees, mile after mile in fresh morning breeze. Remember, we made trufula trees for art one day, with the popsicle sticks and a little pom-pom ball. That's exactly what they look like, too. And under the trees, I saw brown barbalots frisking about in their barbalot suits as they played in the shade and ate trufula fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trufula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh buttery milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffle tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and knitted a thmeed. I'm going to see if I can get this. All right, so there's the truffle trees, and he's knitting like a sweater kind of thing because it's so soft. So I'm going to finish the rest of the story on another night so you guys could finish up the Lorax. All right, good night.